does sell products, of course, but it also sells a great deal more than products. It sells values, it sells images, it sells concepts of love and sexuality, of romance, of success, and perhaps, more importantly, of normalcy. To a great extent, advertising tells us who we are and who we should be.
Portrays them as like they have to be really thin and have a flat stomach, but they also have to have curves and like a big chest and nice round behind, and they have to do all this, and it kind of doesn't make sense because you have to be super thin. But for men, they have to be really fit and buff, but not like too buff, otherwise it's just gross. And so I think it's kind of more difficult for women to achieve the media's image than men, because men can just work out. For girls, it's like you have to do a bunch of different things to get that look.
Like in magazines, the girls are all like really like tan and like long hair and like always in bathing suits and have really nice bodies, and then guys are just over here like shirtless, like, hey, how you doing? Like, you know,
like, hey, how
yeah,
you doing?
yeah, like they're just, I don't know. If you don't look like that, you're not perfect, pretty much.
For men and women, I think that the media puts a lot of pressure on girls to look a certain way. At a very young age, I feel like girls are dieting and they have an idea of what they're supposed to look like. It's very early, like 5, 6 years old. So these messages don't just come from the sky. They obviously come from somewhere. So looking at magazines and their moms themselves being on diets can be very influential for children. And I think for men, there are a lot of pressures for boys too to look a certain way. Not as much. But how it can influence boys is that then they want their girlfriends to be perfect, or to look like the models, or they only want, that kind of look. And so it gives them an unrealistic expectation of what a woman is supposed to actually look like.
Well, I mean, there's pressure to be thin, but not too thin, and pressure to be in shape but not have too much muscle because it's, you're on steroids or something. It's like there's so much pressure to be exactly in the right little window of perfection when it's really hard to be.
I do feel like it does set like the bar up high, because they're kind of portraying this image where everyone looks that way, where everyone should look that way, and so the mindset we have as teenagers is that, well, we should look that way too, and so that's what most people aim for.
It like leads to young men and women into like anorexia and eating disorders, and it leads them to depression also.
My brain was just so gone. It was recovery or death. That was it. I knew I either had to go back to treatment or, you know what, I was gonna die. And at that point, death didn't scare me at all.
So many people think that eating disorders are primarily about food or weight or how someone looks. People who believe that are really missing about. That's the very, very tip of the iceberg.
I saw my first therapist. One of the first things she said to me was, your eating disorder is about your emotions. I said two things to her. One, I don't have an eating disorder. I just want to lose 5 pounds. Two, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
The great thing about recovery is that it's something different for everybody. The better question is, what will recovery release me into? What will recovery make possible for me?
Recovery is worth it. My friends from college, they go on, they've lived their life, they have jobs. I'm almost 25 years old, I need to live my life. It's just been one good thing after another, and I've just seen like a little bit of recovery. And from seeing that, it really just gives me hope. I just want more of it.
I'm a forensic artist. Worked for the San Jose Police Department from 1995 to 2011.
I showed up to a place I'd never been, and there was a guy with a drafting board.
We couldn't see them, they couldn't see us.
Tell me about your hair.
I didn't know what he was doing, but then I could tell after several questions that he was drawing me.
Tell me about your chin.
It kind of protrudes a little bit, especially when I smile.
Your jaw.
My mom told me I had a big jaw.
What would be your most prominent feature?
I kind of have a fat, rounder face.
The older I've gotten, the more freckles I've gotten.
I would say I have a pretty big forehead.
Once I get a sketch, I say thank you very much, and then they leave. I don't see them.
All I had been told before the sketch was to get friendly with this other woman, Chloe.
Today I'm gonna ask you some questions about a person you met earlier, and I'm gonna ask you some general questions about their face.
She was thin, so you could see her cheekbones. And her chin, it was a nice, thin chin.
She had nice eyes. They lit up when she spoke.
Cute nose.
She had blue eyes, very nice blue eyes.
So here we are. This is the sketch that you helped me create, and that's a sketch that somebody described of you.
So yeah, that's...
She looks closed off and fatter, sadder too. The second one looks more open, friendly, and happy.
I should be more grateful of my natural beauty. It impacts the choices and the friends that we make, the jobs we apply for, how we treat our children. It impacts everything. It couldn't be more critical to your happiness.
Do you think you're more beautiful than you say?
Yeah. Yeah.
We spend a lot of time as women analyzing and trying to fix the things that aren't quite right. And we should spend more time appreciating the things that we do like.
Who's beautiful both outside and inside, and has goals in their lives, and we're smart and fit looking.
Constant goal that you set for yourself, which helps you improve, I guess.
It's just being confident in who they are, and I hope that my students feel like that too, and not comparing themselves to unrealistic standards, just feeling like they're okay the way that they are, being a kind person, and just doing the best that they can, and life in that.
I don't think it will ever be.
There will never be a
Because,
perfect, but that's
even
what
if you are something that is considered perfect to someone, it will never be perfect to another.
that's very true.
It just
I think a lot of people mix the reality with what they see as beautiful, or in your terms, perfect. They realize it's never going to be attainable, so we fudge things or we make concessions because we just want to be a little.
Having confidence in yourself and just knowing that nobody's perfect and you can't be perfect yourself.
Like, it's okay to be who you are. Like, things like that are temporary and they can change, but there shouldn't be this pressure to change. You need to accept who you are and be okay with that, and that's perfection.
I am me, so I'm amazing in every way. Everything.
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 Everything. Everything. Everything. Everything.
Everything.
Everything. Everything.
Everything. This.
Every time you open, say it. Everything.